Furnishing an Airbnb can make or break your bookings, but here's the truth. It doesn't have to be overwhelming or cost a fortune. You just need to know what you're doing. My name is Julie Hutchison. I'm a buyer's agent here in the Austin and Central Texas market. I also own 2 STRs myself, furnished one of them myself. One of them came a little furnished and I augmented it. So I've had some experience furnishing STRs. So let's talk about this. First of all, if you're just looking to buy an STR, this has probably got to be one of the first questions people ask me. This is something you don't need to worry about until down the road. You just need to put a number, a budget for furnishing your STR. And that budget is a little hard to determine, but I work with buyers all the time and I can help you with that. If you're a 2-bedroom in East Austin, your budget's going to be lower than if you're a 4-bedroom on the lake with a bigger house. So we can talk about what budgets look like, and it depends on also the price point of the home. If you're a small, little, tiny, cute bungalow versus a large luxury home. So we can talk about that as well. But it doesn't have to be hard, and it can be fun. I think a lot of people getting into this business look forward to this part. And I have a funny story I'm going to tell you at the end of this video, if you stay till the end, about my experience furnishing one of my properties. But let's just talk about it a little bit. It can be overwhelming. Not only do you need to buy furniture for every room, you also need to buy the amenities, towels, sheets, kitchen utensils, all of that. So I typically start with a list. The other thing I do is I start with a design. Whether you're a designer or you hire a designer, you don't have to use a designer to actually furnish it themselves, but they can create like a mood board for you. If you're a designer, then I recommend you do that before you start. Obviously, if you're a professional designer, you know that, but if you're just a hobby designer, create some kind of theme. Short-term rentals do really great with themes. And I would even go so far to say I create a color per room, an accent color per room. And I try to keep them all in the same color family. So in this particular house that I'm in, we're doing like a warm Japandi cream color style. I have one room that has sage green accents. I have another room that has rust accents, and it just keeps it in a theme. I don't know. I'm not a designer. Most designers listening to this would probably say that doesn't make any sense, but that's what I do. So you want to get the design set up before you ever start. And that way, every time you buy something, you can check and say, is this within my design or am I buying something out in left field? And design can be really important. It creates the mood of the house. So for this particular house where we wanted to do a warm, cozy getaway, almost like a luxury hotel a little bit. My other house is a larger house, 3 bedrooms, has a cowboy pool. So that's a little outside of the box. And so we went a little more funkier, brighter colors, bolder design in that house. And so you got to think about that as well. Does your design match your house? So enough about design. Let's talk about furnishings. As I mentioned, create a list, and I can send you my list. Just reach out to me. I have a list, and set a budget within that list. Like, yeah, some things will probably go over, some will go under, but you want to make sure that if you're going over on every single item, you're going to go way above your budget, and you don't want to do that. This is still an investment. You still want to hit your numbers, and it is easy to go a little crazy once you get started. Add artwork. The artwork doesn't have to be expensive. One of my favorite websites is this website called Desenio, Desenio. I don't even know if that's how you say it, Desenio. But I like that website. And the reason I found it is they send you framed prints and you can search by color. So that room that I did with the rust color theme, searched by that color, found 3 or 4 prints that kind of all matched and were all in the same design family, ordered them framed, and just they ship them all. You pop them in the frames, hang them up on the walls. And the cool thing is you can get the same color frames throughout the house, and that creates a cohesive design for your accent art as well. One thing that I am learning my lesson with, and I have mixed feelings on, are live plants. If you have live plants within the house, people love it. It creates a very home-like feel. They're very popular right now, but just remember you're going to have someone keep those plants alive and water them. So one of my properties that's right next to my house, I do have plants and I do go in about once a week and water them. The other house that's further down the street, I have gotten rid of all the live plants. If you do get live plants, also get the ones that don't need that much water, that can stay alive no matter what. So that's something to think about. In addition, on your list, Airbnb is going to ask for specific amenities. And so you want to make sure and check as many boxes as you can that Airbnb has. Some of those things will be like a crib, which you can use a pack and play for, a high chair. You want to have fire extinguishers. So go through your Airbnb listing that you're going to be setting up and make sure you check as many of those amenities as you can. One mistake I made for one of my properties, it's a 3-bedroom, sleeps 9, and I thought people in Austin stay out late. I thought I was going to be real crazy with the coffee and doing an espresso machine, but that was a mistake. Now I've moved that machine into my kitchen and I enjoy a nice espresso from my Nespresso machine, but it didn't work for my short-term rental. It's too expensive. Those pods are super expensive. If you have to add 9 pods every single stay, that's going to add up super quick. Your budget is going to be blown out with these Nespresso pods. So you want to think about offering there's little packages of coffee that you can get, things like that, but don't go over the top. So that's something, as a newbie, I made that mistake. I've learned my lesson. I don't do that anymore. And then make sure you do keep a reasonably stocked kitchen. Like I said, don't go overboard, but I do get a lot of comments on my reviews that I have a nicely stocked kitchen. So people do like to cook when they travel. That's one of the reasons they choose short-term rentals. And so you want to stock a kitchen, and you can do that using items from Amazon.com. They don't have to be super expensive, but just a nicely stocked kitchen so people can cook. Another thing is don't forget the outdoor spaces. You want to utilize the little patios, the decks, and create an atmosphere outside, maybe with a fire pit. You definitely want to use hanging lights. That's very important. Almost every short-term rental should have hanging lights somewhere. Just really important. And create that outdoor atmosphere. The other thing is don't forget games. So when people visit, they're traveling, they're seeing family members they haven't seen in a while, and people love to play games. So those are some of my tips for furnishing your short-term rental. If you work with me, I can provide you a lot more information about it and my firsthand experience. And I do owe you that story that I said I would give you if you stay till the end. It was January. It was right around holidays. Actually, it was December, right around the holidays. And I was getting a short-term rental stood up, my second short-term rental. And I had just done it, my other short-term rental. So I had my Amazon list and I just was going through checking, I'm going to order these sheets. I'm going to order these utensils. I'm going to order these towels. I had everything in my cart. First of all, Amazon does have a limit. If I were to do it again, break it into 2 or 3 orders because something happened, something glitched. I must have clicked the submit order button twice because there were so many items in my cart. Amazon ordered everything twice, and it was probably 200 items, and some of them were overnight. And I woke up the next morning to stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of boxes. And as I started opening them, I was realizing I have 2 of everything here. And so I had to get everything in my dining room, everything organized. And then the way Amazon does it is they break it into several mini orders depending on which warehouse it's coming from and all of that. And so I called them and there was no way to just ship all of that one order back. I had to do returns for every single item, and I had to go to the UPS store and return each one individually. It was the biggest headache ever. So that's my lesson learned with Amazon. I've never ordered that much at once until then. But if you do, break it into little cards and maybe even space out the days that you submit them, and do not hit the button twice and do not refresh. And hopefully you can learn from me and not have that experience. The other thing is I partner with Landon Smith over at Aaron. They optimize properties. You can watch their video in my playlist, but they help with helping you get your property furnished. And they even have designers that you can hire if you're going to buy here in this area, or they can even do it remotely. Reach out to me. I can connect you with them as well. And good luck. Hope you get everything furnished and hope to hear from you.